Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Bruce Frisco. It is Monday, the 20th of April. This is CTV News. Tonight, relief at the pumps, but soaring fuel prices being blamed for another sizable jump in the overall inflation. The closest of calls. Meet the Maritime woman who narrowly missed getting run down by a runaway bus. And a musical milestone, celebrating 6 decades with the Men of the Deeps.
Live from our Maritime's News Center, this is CTV News. Here is Bruce Frisco.
Good evening. As promised, relief at the pumps today with the removal of part of the federal gas tax. Not a moment too soon. Last month saw the largest fuel increase ever recorded. That, combined with ever-rising food prices, pushed the inflation rate to 2.4%. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis has more.
Surging fuel costs are being blamed for an increase in inflation for March. The ongoing U.S.-Israel war with Iran is expected to continue to force costs upward.
We're still looking at a scenario, the longer this goes on and the more damage that might occur of irreparable damage that could take us into not just days or weeks or months, but in fact, years.
In the last month, Stats Canada data shows a 21.2% jump in gasoline prices. That's the highest monthly increase ever recorded. 13.1% in energy costs. Transportation and non-durable goods rose 4.2% and 3.2% respectively. Overall, food inflation slowed to 4.4% in March, down from 5.4% in February. The exception is for fresh produce, which was up almost 8%.
Groceries are very sensitive to increases in transportation costs, and fresh fruit and vegetables is where that's going to show up first because they're being transported on such a short timeline.
There was some relief Monday. The suspension of the federal excise tax on fuel is now in effect.
This is probably as good as it gets. The $1.67 you're seeing in Nova Scotia, the $1.75 in PEI, the $1.72 in New Brunswick.
Stats Canada says if gas was taken out of the formula, inflation would have come in at 2.2%. Jonathan McGinnis, CTV News, Halifax.
New Brunswick Premier Susan Holt was getting some face-to-face time with the Prime Minister in Ottawa today. Speaking briefly ahead of their meeting, the two leaders talked about progress made in a number of files, including the Sissons Mine project, health and infrastructure, and the possibilities of expanded energy corridors on the East Coast. The Premier says the province has what the world needs, and she wants the Prime Minister to tell the world.
We have the trade infrastructure in our ports to get those assets out to the world who wants this at a time when our allies are looking for new and different relationships. And so looking forward to those conversations about how we grow the New Brunswick economy and the kind of jobs that are going to pay the bills in our province to the benefit of all of Canada.
During the 2-day trip, Holt will also meet with cabinet ministers and attend a Chamber of Commerce conference with some other premiers. Nova Scotia is starting public consultations this week on controversial plans to allow natural gas exploration more than a decade after hydraulic fracturing was banned in the province. Dalhousie University is administering the program, which will see university researchers and the private sector studying the 198 billion cubic meters of gas Nova Scotia is believed to have. The program was introduced after Premier Tim Houston's Progressive Conservatives lifted the decade-long moratorium on fracking last year. First Nations, environmental groups, and some academics, though, have been critical, citing financial and environmental concerns.
Get the Maritime's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
You know, any way you look at it, it has not been a very good week for Halifax Transit. In the span of a few days, one bus slammed into a power pole while another rolled down a hill and slammed into a tree outside a downtown office building. Tonight, we're hearing from a local woman recounting her near miss with the runaway bus. Here's CTV's Callum Smith with her story.
Holly Scher has a one-of-a-kind tale about her life flashing before her eyes.
There is absolutely no way in hell I'd be standing here right now if it weren't for that tree.
She was leaving work at Purdy's Wharf Friday evening, taking her daily route.
I was looking at my phone, trying to find a podcast, and I was distracted, and then I looked up, and there was a bus like 6 feet away from me, barreling towards me.
That Halifax Transit bus was parked on Reconciliation Way out of service, meaning no one was on board, not even the driver, but it started rolling downhill.
When he reached in the window to turn off the engine, the bus began rolling down Upper Water Street and came to a stop once it hit a tree. The tree then broke and hit Purdy's Wharf Tower number 1.
Shattering a few windows, the bus charging through Upper Water Street, miraculously not hitting any vehicles or people. According to police, the driver suffered minor injuries from trying to catch the bus as it rolled. Scher says he too
was really in shock, kind of had glass shards all over him, so I helped him kind of pick a few off his hat.
But it was a close call for Scher, only having a split second to process it, thinking,
what a stupid way to die.
The transit service declined an interview, saying their investigation is ongoing.
Everyone's very lucky that there was no further incident or any other injuries involved in this in the collision.
It's important to not walk around staring at your phone. It looks dumb, and it is dumb. So I'm going to be more careful.
Callum Smith, CTV News, Halifax.
Police in Nova Scotia investigating a break-and-enter, they say, caused hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage and closed a business for repairs. RCMP say multiple buildings at a manufacturing company near Truro were left with smashed windows, destroyed fixtures, and damaged tools and equipment after the incident on April the 14th. A pickup truck was also stolen. 2 youths were arrested the same day in Halifax. They're facing a number of charges. And 2 other youths in the Halifax area facing charges after an attempted robbery in Lower Sackville. This incident happened on Sackville Drive just after 6 o'clock last night. Police say the pair tried to rob some other young people with a weapon. Investigators say they seized an airsoft pistol, an airsoft rifle, as well as a can of bear spray. The investigation is ongoing. Well, the Cape Breton man who successfully challenged Nova Scotia's woods ban last year says he fully expects his $28,000 fine will be canceled. The decision in favor of Jeff Everly came down Friday, with the judge ruling the province did not consider individual charter rights before barring all Nova Scotians from the woods because of extreme fire risk.
And there was absolutely nothing in the record provided by the government anywhere that showed that they had even mentioned the charter rights, let alone carefully considered the impact of the proclamation to them.
If they're going to take extreme measures, they need to take people's charter rights into account, and they need to find ways to accommodate things like people's freedom of movement. And they didn't do that in this particular order, and that's the main problem.
CTV News reached out to DNR for comment on the decision, but got no response before deadline today. Several communities in states of emergency tonight as flooding hits central Ontario. There is better news in New Brunswick. A great many people there are watching water levels closely, though, and some areas have hit flood stage or will hit that stage very soon. Here's CTV's Nick Moore.
Tonight, a flood warning is in effect for Fredericton. Warm temperatures and rain over the weekend caused the river here to rise faster than expected.
We're currently at level 1, which is enhanced monitoring. That way there, we're keeping a close eye on the water levels.
Several trails along the river in Fredericton have been blocked off, and City Hall says Bourke Lane, McMinimum Court, and the Upper Queen Street parking lot will be affected next if the river does hit flood stage here. Fredericton should hit flood stage by tomorrow morning. There are flood warnings, watches, and advisories on the St. John River, both above and below the Mactaquac Dam, including a flood warning in effect tonight in the village of Gagetown, which is expected to hit flood stage and stay above it for the rest of the week.
What we are seeing in the upper branches is that things seem to have peaked there. and things will be peaking in the lower St. John over the next day or two. Water levels are going to stay significantly high for a while. It's going to take time for things to kind of flush out the system.
New Brunswick EMO has also forecast a flood warning tomorrow in Majorville and Gemsag. Nick Moore, CTV News, Fredericton.
Nuclear energy officials from Ontario are on site at Point Lepreau right now in hopes of getting the site running on a more consistent and more efficient basis. A 3-year partnership began at the start of the month, just days before the station went offline for a planned 119-day outage starting on April 10th. Ontario is the only other province in Canada with nuclear generating stations, and it's hoped some of that expertise will be useful in New Brunswick. The deal is worth $25 million a year.
The investments we're doing right now, they did that years ago. So they're reaping the rewards now. So I'm just hoping, I'm confident that we're going to see some of those results. We have a federal government that has clearly indicated that they want to have new nuclear outside of Ontario before 2035. We're the most ready jurisdiction to have that.
Since 2022, NB Power has spent more than $800 million in upgrades to Point Lepreau. And by the way, each day it's offline costs the utility over $1 million. 2 weeks from today, New Brunswickers will have elected a new slate of municipal leaders. And there are some pretty interesting races for mayor in some of the province's larger areas. Province-wide elections on May 11th will fill positions in local councils, rural district committees, and education councils. Election NB says there are many factors that will influence what the final voter turnout will look like.
In these elections, we have quite a few contests for mayors where there are 3 or more people that are running for that pivotal position in their communities, whether you're looking at, Tracadie, Miramichi, Fredericton, Moncton, Dieppe. So that in itself can lend to a little bit more of excitement.
Harpel says Elections NB has 18 returning offices with staff training for advanced polling and, of course, Election Day as well. All right, time for our first break tonight. Still to come, Kaylin's full forecast, and we'll offer up some last-minute tax tips with the deadline to file coming up at the end of the month. Coming up next, though, hands-on experience.
All we're trying to do is provide them opportunity that they might not otherwise have and that can open doors for their futures.
It's a unique partnership that may be inspiring the next generation of surgeons and specialists. That's next. Stay.
So you're right.
Mornings with Aaron and Peter.
What gets you up and out of bed every morning? Join us for that tomorrow at 6.
Maybe it's a chance to win $1,000, $1,000 minute tomorrow at 7.
The efforts to train and recruit family doctors and nurses here in our region are well documented, of course, but the need for surgeons is every bit as desperate. Now, though, a program in Halifax is letting students try their hand at the skills needed to save lives. CTV's Emma Convey has more.
You could be looking at your future doctor, surgeon, or cardiologist.
That's us right there. We're suturing, so we're going through the pork. We're sewing through, so it was nice to work with hands-on, something for real.
Students 13 to 18 learn and practice surgical skills. It's a course designed to not only inspire interest in medicine, but give kids the opportunity to gain the knowledge and techniques firsthand.
Your hands in.
It all starts with scrubbing in to allow them to picture themselves in the role of a surgeon. Today's lesson, suturing and hand tying, led by pediatric cardiac surgeon David Horn, who has volunteered for 2 years with this program.
In 15 years, I won't be a surgeon anymore. We need new surgeons to do the work. The more we plant the seed, the earlier we plant the seed, the longer the tree has time to throw roots. And for how tough the training is and how long it takes to do that, you need roots and passion.
I have to cut through it like I'm cooking.
The program launched fall of 2024. It started as an idea by medical student Abigail Greek.
Reading through different pieces of literature, a lot of research showed that one, diversity in healthcare is very, very important, and two, that there's still lots of gaps.
So she partnered with the Boys and Girls Club of Greater Halifax to provide free classes to students, each taking place at Dalhousie University.
All that we try to do in any programming that we offer, whether that be for youth who are 13 plus, or even for children who are ages 4 to 12, all we're trying to do is provide them opportunity that they might not otherwise have and that can open doors for their futures.
Emma Convey, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Emma. Time for a quick little break here, but when we come back, your complete maritime weather forecast. Another cool night around here. Kaylin will tell us what to expect for the rest of the week when your CTV News at 11:30 continues. Okay, Monday night upon us. It's the 20th day of April. The month is just flying by, isn't it?
Sure is, but I'm ready for May flowers. How about you, Bruce?
Yes, I would think so.
We've had a fair amount of April showers this month. The latest round of rain to come across the Maritimes, of course, arriving Sunday and Monday. But a general 5 to 15 millimeters for the region. A few areas a little bit higher than that. That front is now past us. It's well off towards the east. In behind it, we do have some chillier temperatures coming up for the nights and the mornings. Not a ton of more precipitation expected this week. Some days with basically a chance of some showers. Might be a little bit of good news there to get a little bit of a break from repeating rounds of rain at this time, because there are some water levels in the St. John River system that are starting to get a little bit higher. In fact, in around the Fredericton area, as well as the Gagetown area, those water levels may be at their flood stage coming up for tomorrow, so that's something to keep an eye on. In general, for the St. John River system, the water levels have come up by quite a bit over the last couple of days. So taking a look at what's going on our forecast timeline for cloud cover and precipitation tonight, there is still a chance of a couple of showers or a couple of flurries right around the southeast New Brunswick and into Cumberland and Colchester counties of Nova Scotia. Start of the day for tomorrow, chilly start for all three maritime provinces. Moving into the afternoon, it's a mix of sun and cloud, and with a low chance of a shower or flurry for the province of Nova Scotia. But for any given community, it's going to be about a 20 or 30% chance of a shower. So basically, those showers are going to be very isolated or very spotty in their coverage. Taking a look at the winds in the forecast for tomorrow, generally out of the north and pretty light, between 10 and 20 kilometers per hour. The fact that they're light may allow for some sea breezes to develop as we make our way into the afternoon. So that would be a wind that develops from the morning into the afternoon that blows inland from off of the ocean waters. And that could happen around the Bay of Fundy coastline in New Brunswick and parts of the Atlantic coastline of Nova Scotia. Low temperatures in the forecast for tonight. As I mentioned, a little bit of a colder mid to late April night. Got a lot of lows headed down 2 or at least a couple degrees below the freezing mark. Some in the northern half of New Brunswick, several degrees below zero. In Edmundston, maybe as cold as -12. High temperatures in the forecast for tomorrow for the north of New Brunswick will be mostly around 4 or 5 degrees, with central and southern parts of that province with high temperatures mostly between 4 and 8 degrees. 7 at Fredericton for tomorrow, 6 at St. John, and 5 for Moncton. Prince Edward Island tomorrow, it's cool even in the afternoon with the high temperatures around 2, 3 degrees for most communities, including 3 at Charlottetown. It is going to be a chilly start to the day and then a cool afternoon for Cape Breton and the North Shore and Eastern Shore of Nova Scotia. Most of the high temperatures there between 2 and 5 degrees. In northern and central parts of the province, high temperatures on Tuesday between 4 and 6 degrees. That is below average for this far into the month of April. And for the Annapolis Valley, high temperatures close to 5 degrees for tomorrow. And for communities on the south shore of Nova Scotia, the high temperatures between 5 and 7. And as we make our way throughout this week, we have some more chilly nights and mornings ahead of us, including for New Brunswick on Wednesday, as well as on Thursday. Some showers expected on Thursday. There's a chance of showers after that for Friday and Saturday. Mix of sun and clouds Sunday, Monday of next week. And that looks like when our temperature trend could turn around here in the Maritimes and things could start to trend to become a little bit more on the mild side. For Nova Scotia in the forecast, a mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday. We have a chance of flurries on Thursday and on Friday. And to start the weekend on Saturday. After that, a mix of sun and cloud Sunday and Monday. And hopefully the return of some high temperatures that'll be up in the teens. And for Prince Edward Island in the outlook, we've got mostly sunny conditions expected on Wednesday, followed by showers on Thursday and a chance of showers after that on Friday and Saturday. Mix of sun and cloud follows for Sunday and then Monday of next week. Bruce.
So it goes. Thank you, my friend. We'll step aside for just a moment, but stay with us. There is more to come.
The #1 morning show in Halifax. Turk, Megan, and Amateur Alex. And home to the biggest artists. Halifax's #1 hit music station. 101.3 Virgin Radio.
As the April 30th tax deadline approaches, Maritimers are motivated to cash in on rebates or benefits and dodge costly penalties. CTV's Hafsa Arif looks at what you need to know before tax time runs out.
Receipts, T4s, and paperwork. This is crunch time for taxpayers across the country.
One of the bigger things you should be looking into yourself is what big life events happened to you in 2025? What changed for me that might spark different tax situations?
From childcare costs to moving expenses and education credits, those life changes could mean more money back in your pockets.
When we file our tax return, there was more than 400 credits and deductions available for us Canadians. Some new rebates, some new credits. Some are also abolished.
One change this year is the end of the carbon rebate. But a new program is stepping in called Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefits.
It's like the regular GST rebate, but starting in June, you're going to get a lump sum payment sometime around that time. And after that, for the quarterly payments that we're used to getting for that GST rebate, you're actually going to get 25% more.
Now, if you do miss the deadline to submit your tax return, it could cost you.
There's a late filing penalty that we call, so that's 5% that CRA will add to any amount that you owe to the government the next day after your filing deadline.
And even if you don't owe money, waiting could delay benefits or refunds. Hafsa Arif, CTV News, Halifax.
Thank you, Hafsa. Time for one final break. Coming up, celebrating 60 years with the Men of the Deeps. First, though, it's your wake-up weather. Here's a live look at Dunbrack Street in Halifax, currently 4 degrees. Kaylin will tell you how to dress for the morning when we come back. Okay, Tuesday morning, let's kick it off with a look at the wake-up weather, and I guess we're still going to need the heavier jacket in the morning.
Yeah, it's not my favorite morning weather map in behind me, Bruce. There's far too many negative signs on it. Starting off the day on Tuesday, most of the temperatures will be around or at least a few degrees below the freezing mark. Really feeling a little bit of a bite to the air for northern areas of New Brunswick. The afternoon will be cool for the Maritimes with a light north wind. Generally a mix of sun and cloud. Low chance of the odd shower for the province of Nova Scotia. Bruce.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, for 60 years now, the Maritimes have been home to North America's only group of singing coal miners. CTV's Ryan McDonald shows us tonight. Today, they delighted some fellow travelers just before hitting the Coal Town Road for another tour.
And we make the ponies pull till they nearly break their backs.
People showing up for a flight at the McCurdy-Sydney Airport got a surprise performance today from the continent's only choir of singing coal miners.
We're kicking off our 60th anniversary tour, the Diamond Sunset Tour.
The Men of the Deeps were flying to Ontario for 12 shows to mark the big milestone. The group's history, perhaps as rich as the pitch black coal these men once hauled out from underground.
It dates back to 1966. So many men, so many personalities.
We're going into our 20th year of operation in Men of the Deeps.
The group's first big performance was at Expo 67 in Montreal. This archived footage was taken ahead of their return trip to that city nearly 20 years later for Expo 86.
I've been there 50 years now.
Nipper McLeod's half-century with the group has been one of the highlights of his life.
After family, it's probably one of the most important things that ever happened to me.
To be a member of this choir, you have to work 2 years in the mine.
Some of the youngest members of this group are now in their late 60s, begging the question of whether membership requirements might change someday to keep the Men of the Deeps going.
That's to be seen in the future, but right now this group is still authentic.
Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Sydney.
They sure are. That's your late news tonight. Just a reminder, if you joined us late or you'd like to take a closer look at anything you've seen, ctvnewsatlantic.ca is always your home for news. I'm Bruce Frisco. Thank you for staying up late with us tonight. Have a good evening. We sure hope to see you again tomorrow.